Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're looking at a qualification match for RLCS 2024 in the Middle Eastern North African region. It's two Saudi Arabian teams. The first needs no introduction really. Well, actually I say that, maybe they do now, because it's TRK, Quals and Qualifier. That's Team Falcons. Qualifier getting bumped off the play there by Ops, who is 1/3 of the roster going by the name Dawn. And you can see, if you look at the first letter of their names, Dr. Known, Ops and Nush, why they've called themselves Dawn. Not the first team in the Middle East who have done this over the past couple of seasons. Thinking of KRN last season. But now, of course, we are into the 2024 RLCS season. It's finally happening, and Middle East had their first day of their qualifiers today. The winner of this does advance straight into day 2, which is the final day for Middle East qualifiers. The loser of this, not out, but does have another chance in the lower bracket. This is a best of 3, by the way, so if you're not following, or you haven't been following with the RLCS qualification format, day 1 is going to be best of 3 all the way through, and for Middle East I believe day 2 will be best of 5s for at least for the majority of teams, if not all of them. And for North America and Europe there are going to be 3 days of qualifiers. I'm not actually sure where the best of 3s stop and the best of 5s commence, but I'll definitely talk about that in another video. But let's talk about first of all, Falcons with the Twins. So the Twins have left Rule 1, they've joined Falcons and TRK, and now that looks to be the super team in the Middle East. But if you're wondering what happened to Ahmad, what happened to Khaled, who used to be in Falcons, well actually they've joined Rule 1, so now Rule 1 picked up Naupo, Khaled and Ahmad, and you've got, so they're, I guess, one super team, and you've got TRK and the Twins as the other super team. I guess we'll find out very soon which super team is the more super of the two. But very exciting stuff for the Middle Eastern region. Twisted Minds also looking very strong with Senzo, SMW, Lawson. I think they've got Telem as a 4th player as well. So yeah, definitely 3 very strong rosters at the top of the Middle East, comprising mostly of players who made it to the World Championship or the wildcard last season. And now this roster of Nush, Dr. Known and Ops would not be able to play, like I said, if it wasn't for the age change. I'm not actually sure how old Nush and Ops are, but yeah, Dr. Known is, I believe, 14 at the moment. That's a really nice ceiling recovery interception by the aforementioned. And the reason we're watching this whole replay from Dr. Known's POV is because he has a banger of a game here, and I think he's just a really interesting player in the Middle Eastern region at the moment that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. Oh, mess up there by TRK. Dr. Known squashes it in for 2-1. And it looks like Falcons are under pressure as we approach halftime in the opening game here. Tons of pressure, remember, this is best of 3, so double elimination best of 3 is brutal format. One of the most brutal formats we've ever had for RLCS teams, especially established RLCS teams. But it does make for great entertainment. Dr. Known, in this game so far, you'll notice he's not managing his boost all that well. If there's one complaint or one comment I would make about his play that could probably be improved, it would be boost management. He's wasted a couple of moments where he's had 12 or 20 to spare. But yeah, you can kind of understand that. They're up against Falcons. This is probably the biggest match that they've played in a while, if not ever. And it's to qualify for RLCS 2024 in a best of 3. Well, you're not actually in here. Oh, just about getting the save there, Dr. Known. And you're starting to see, if I've got, I wanted to tell you guys the bad news first. Boost management's gone out the window in this qualifier. But check out the goalkeeping. Another great save by Dr. Known, lobbing the ball up to Nush. But yeah, panic in defense actually resulting in some great saves there for Dr. Known. He's up to 6 saves in just over 3 minutes. Yeah, he is, I would say, the defensive archetype of Middle Eastern player. There seem to be 2 types of Middle Eastern players, 2 types of Saudi Arabian players over the years. You've got those who follow in the footsteps of Ahmad, the offensive master, and then you've got those who follow in the footsteps of Khaled, more defensively orientated. And Khaled, really was in the conversation in 21-22 of RLCS for best defender at the end of the year, or at least in the spring split. Let's say spring split major, he was definitely in the conversation for defensive MVP. He didn't win it. I think Matira won it if I remember correctly. But yeah, Khaled was certainly up there, and then Quals as well in the spring major of the most recent RLCS season. He did win defensive MVP. So yeah, the Middle East has a good good track record for producing those kind of defensive players, and I think Dr. Known is just another one of those guys, following in the footsteps of the players who have gone before him. Looking at the across the other side of the pitch, you've got the offensive archetype in Qualifier, his twin brother Quals, the defensive player for that team, as I'm sure most of you are aware. Oh, it's a great fake by Qualifier there to tie the game. Completely mind games Dr. Known, who should be playing the ball there. There's no denying that is a misplay if you're the leading challenger. in 2s or 3s, you've got a teammate behind you, you have to be getting some of the ball. You have to at least get a piece of the ball. If you get faked, then your teammate behind you is in a world of trouble. You have not caused the opposing team's player to lose control of the ball at all. We're all tied up game 1, best of 3. Dr. Known misses his backboard double set up. Can't get back to it. And the heavy hits are continuing on the offense for Falcons, and Nosh and Dr. Known have committed, but nobody able to reach the ball. The ball is absolutely flying off sidewalls right now. TRK skies it over the goal again. Nosh attempts to take control. Does well there, Nosh, to bring the ball past 1 and 2, and then field now to Ops. Up goes Dr. Known. He doesn't have a lot of boost to play with. If he did, that would have been a bit of a scary position for Falcons. But how about this? Overtime on day 1 of the qualifiers for one of the best teams in the world. I think on paper, the #1 team in the Middle East right now, Falcons. This really does show, I think it gives a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come for North America, for Europe, and all the other regions that are still to begin their qualifiers. These best of 3s are going to be terrifying. You go up against some Supersonic Legend players, even players who have never made RLCS before. If they're having a good series and you're having a slightly bad series, that would be you know, a very, very scary position to be in when you have to win 2 out of 3 games. It doesn't get a lot easier. Best of 5 is still going to be very scary for a lot of these teams all around the world. But yeah, we will be watching this game till its conclusion, and then the rest of this series as well. Don't want to spoil the result yet. Can Nosh ice it? No, defended well by TRK on the back wall. I don't think I mentioned he's playing the Octane in this game, which is interesting to see. Beautiful double in the back corner there by Dr. Known, but Ruas sends it clear to TRK. Dr. Known pre-jumps, couldn't get the block, but well dealt with by Ops. You know, this video is mostly about Dr. Known because of the stellar defensive performance he has, and because, you know, he really is, I think, the story, or the main story of this team, being a youngster coming in, thanks to the expanded age restrictions, or reduced age restrictions, I should say, for RLCS now. But Ops and Nosh are also playing a great game, I should say. This is just game 1. Really taking it to Falcons, and they have been up against it for the most part, stuck in defense, but they're getting out to that midfield to challenge early. Just about enough. That's not the best clear though by Dr. Known. Ops has to make a great goal line save. Dr. Known does close the gap on the following play. Yeah, a good 50-50. TRK going all the way to the ceiling. Can he go all the way through here? Dr. Known's demoed, but no. Another clutch save. I mean, it's the whole team right now. We're just survival mode. Look how many shots Falcons are producing as they come forward once again. TRK with the mid-air 50 and the winning goal. How about that for an endgame scoreboard? We've got 24 shots for Falcons. We've got 10 saves for Dr. Known, 9 for his teammates combined. Great performance there, really making it difficult for the favorites, difficult for the #1 team in the Middle Eastern region. But it is going to be Falcons taking game 1 here. Let's take a look at game 2 and see if they can close out the series. Game 2 must win for Dawn if they want to stay in the upper bracket for the qualifier. Remember, they're not eliminated if they lose this game, but they will be on their last life, which is a very scary position to be in. We're going to be on board with Dr. Known again. I decided that I'm just going to be taking you guys through Dr. Known's POV for the entire series today. I want to keep an eye on what he's getting up to. But I expect that we're going to see more of this team throughout the season. If they can play anything like they did in game 1 there. Obviously they did get out-pressured. They got out-shot by a large margin. But, you know, this is a very nerve-wracking situation for them. I've highlighted again a few times the boost management needing some work, but that's something that really you expect to go out the window in a high-pressure situation. And I think these young players, if nothing else, are gaining a ton of experience in these qualifiers against teams like Falcons, teams like Rule 1, teams like Twisted Minds, who, don't forget, have absolutely dominated the Middle Eastern region in the past couple of years. Well, maybe not the full roster of Twisted Minds, but in the last year, certainly, the Middle Eastern region was very, very top-heavy, and these teams, you know, getting one-sided wins is kind of what they do until they get to the top 4. And then maybe it gets a little bit closer. Good interception there by Dr. Known. Nosh able to squash it in for 1-0. It really shows that they're not just sitting back in defense and choosing to play that defensive strategy. I don't think that is their game plan coming into this one. I think that is more of a result of how the midfield battle went. Falcons just were way, way too good at that midfield battle. But some of the passing and defense is very impressive for this young team. And when they do see those opportunities to make those interceptions, they are going for them. And Nush is really struggling to find some boost here. He's trying to get the big pad on spawn. It spawns right as he leaves it. You know, this is not the best when it comes to boost management again. That's, for me, his #1 thing to work on. He's super isolated from the play there. Some of these saves are fantastic. The clears that they're getting on most of the saves, buying time for the rest of the team to come back. Quals spots an open backboard, goes for it. Nobody on Falcons able to follow up, though. Here comes Clears. This is a dangerous position. Once again, the 2 layers of defense proven to be enough. Now there's a moment. Oh, he's using all his boosts again. I mean, does save some boost here. There's a big pad for him to get. Doesn't get a good 50-50. The TRK completely annihilates him on that. But yeah, in the run up to that, you can see that it's more about, well, at least reduction on in this series, getting big pads. That's what he's relying on to keep his boost high. He's trying to use small pads to build up speed and win races to big pads. But that's a really, really risky game to play, especially against a team who have got you stuck in defense. Quals boxes him out the play, and TRK again with a strong 50-50, this time mid-air. Yeah, TRK's 50s have just been too strong in game 2. Good kickoff there by Falcons to win possession, but notice Dr. Unknown's evasive action in defense to stay away from danger. Nush slow play. Clears calls his twin off the ball. Looks like everybody was expecting Dr. Unknown's double tap there. You've no doubt called it in comms. At the time of the recording, I don't believe there's a confirmation yet whether or not the loser of this series has made it into day 2, but I'll double check after this game is done, after the series is done I should say, and let you guys know. So I know some of you will be wanting to watch the games tomorrow, watching the matches tomorrow. Good save there by Dr. Known. Making it quite awkward for Falcons. Oh, but they've done well though. Needed a bit of help there, Dr. Known, and the help did not arrive before the Falcons supporting cast did. 3-1. Starting to get away from the youngsters now. TRK just lingering in the midfield there. That's a really smart play to cut off the pass, and look what's happened off the back of it. It's 4-1 now. Yeah, notice TRK there. He didn't have boost, but he didn't just blindly flip away from the play to look for a boost. No, he stuck around in a relevant position, cuts off a pass, showing that you can do a lot with very little boost in certain positions. It's all about activity in high-level 3s these days. Not so much about going for 100 boosts and then making a play, going for 100 boosts and then making another play again. Something very educational that you guys can apply to your own games. Starting to learn and experiment how much you can do with low or even no boost in many positions. But this is desperate now for Dawn. If they are going to win this series, they need to get some goals. It's going to be a very, very difficult team to score on. I mean, it was the team everybody's talking about for their defensive capabilities last season. Clears flip reset, doubles into the crossbar there. Rule 1 with the addition of TRK instead. Oh, they're going to say Rule 1. They're actually Falcons. I'm probably going to make that mistake all season long with the twins now being on Falcons. I'll probably still call them Rule 1. But with the addition of TRK instead of Mawson, I think that does make them even harder to score on. TRK, one of the players in Rocket League, is not known for his goal line defending in 3v3, but definitely one of the players who's extremely difficult to get the ball past. So this team just got even harder to beat, and Dawn have not been able to beat them here. Still a great couple of games. And shout out to Dr. Gnome for sending me these games so I could take a look at them. When I saw the scoreboard of the first one being posted on socials, I just knew I had to check this one out and see what they're getting up to. But yeah, let me actually just check for you guys. I'm going to look up right now the current status of Dawn. So like I told you guys, they've lost this match here. They've lost this to Falcons, but that doesn't eliminate them. So I'll just very quickly check if they made it through to the second day of competition, which also happens to be the last day of competition. Yes, they did. Okay, so at the start of this recording, it wasn't yet confirmed, but they were able to go through the lower bracket against Nakmaz 2-0. Yeah, good job there by Don. That means that the next, it looks like Don's run, if they are going to qualify tomorrow for RLCS, will be, okay, let's see, what bracket are they in? I think that they are the favorites to make it in their bracket. Oh, they're actually not. In fact, no, they're not. They are expected to be eliminated. Although, the seeding for these new teams is very difficult because these guys are all very new. So if you're not, if you don't have RLCS points, then you're not going to get many seeding points either. But I think they can make the run. Looks like the team that's expected to be in their segment of the bracket is Nightmare. Let me just quickly check who's on that roster for you guys, so you know who to look out for tomorrow. I don't know if any of the Dawn players are streaming their run, but that would be a really cool team to see qualify for RLCS. Already giving exciting defensive series like this one. Okay, so yeah, it's Better Call Yusuf, Majid, and Ziad. I feel like I've heard a couple of those names before, seen them in main events for RLCS MENA in the past. So that's going to be an interesting one. Can Don make the run? If they're going to, they need to win 4 series in a row tomorrow. I mean, that's the problem. When you lose, go straight to the lower bracket. You have got a long way back. So they've got to do a lot tomorrow. If they're going to qualify for RLCS, they need to win 4 straight series. Good luck to them. And again, shout out to Dr. None for sending me these replays. Really appreciated. Hope you guys enjoyed them. And hope you guys enjoy watching his very unique style of play, which I love to see. New take on that defensive MENA player coming out of Dr. None. Now I'm going to be covering more of the RLCS quals on my own stream this weekend, so be sure to tune in if you want to get updates on what's happening in all the regions that are trying to qualify this weekend. Every region except EU. But that's all for this one. So thanks all for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you all very soon for more RLCS content, more show match content, and everything else in between. Have a good one.